Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a bit of a situation here because John Woowa, Saint Tontus himself, has released a video saying Kuro killed Wuthering Waves. I never thought I'd see the day where he posted something like this. We're going to dive in and see what he's saying about it. I've been diving back into Woowa myself. What does he have to say?
Righty, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to discuss a topic today, make a video that I didn't really want to make regarding Wuthering Waves. And
his haircut was one of the best decisions he ever made, by the way. I feel the same way about my own. My hair's not great this morning, but like when he cut his hair too, good call, man. Good call.
What many will consider the death of the game. Because it's fair to say that when it comes to woo-wah killers, other competing games, either in the gacha space or just the anime game or the anime game space in general, there's not actually any woo-wah killer at all. The only person, really the only game or company that can kill woo-wah is Kuro Games. And effectively, they have done just that for version 2.7. So what you're
people have been saying that since the beginning, and I do think it's true. Like, Wuthering Waves has a really solid foundation and kind of like really sat itself in its own niche with its combination that, like, as much as we like to fight about like Genshin versus Wuwa and what can happen between the two, I don't think the one is ever actually going to destroy the other. I think both are kind of like got their own spot of like Genshin likes to go like the kiddie route, make it super easy, super basic. Wuwa, you got a little bit more competition there. I think the story writing is better in Wuthering Waves as well. So they're always going to be kind of like their own thing.
You're going to see on my screen over here is the current live viewership of Wuthering Waves across version 2.7. We're in its second half right now. We're about 1 week in. We got about 2 weeks left until the patch is over. And this is what some of the viewership stats are looking like. 802 live viewers right now with me in the category. I'm pretty sure if I leave, we're going to be ending up somewhere closer to around like the 300, 400, maybe even the 500 mark. And when you take
That's so low. Like look at the graph. Look at this graph. That's so unbelievably low when you think about what it launched with. Oh, woof. Not that views are everything, but it's a point on the graph. That's for sure.
Take a look and you see over here about what the progression of the game is looking like. This was the 2.7 update. Looking pretty solid. This was, not bad either. And that, of course, was version
Seems pretty
2.6,
reasonable overall.
The first half with Augusta. That's Chuyan. Yeah, that 1800 over there. That was the release of Chuyan, his after story, and everything that occurred after the 2.7 second half.
Oh my gosh, that's so low. Look, I get it. Because when I was coming back in to do the after story with Chuyan, I'll be honest, I wasn't that motivated to do it. And this is somebody who loved basically all of 2.0, 2.x the whole way through. And even I, after going through the finale, did not really care to go back and do Chuyan's after story. And having done it, it was very interesting, and I do like that they like really just kind of like streamlined it just to be like kind of like, hey, here's what happened behind the scenes, here's how Chuyan kind of got, he got the oh my gosh, the torch, the lantern, whatever the heck you want to call it, to defend himself. And so like, it was neat, but I did not really care. And I'll be honest, I have barely played this update. I have done my dailies. I don't really care for the other events that have happened basically since the story itself has dropped. It was a big like exploration and story game for me, like overall. And so, yeah, we're in a deader than dead patch right now, but I didn't think it was this bad. Oh my gosh.
And as you can see, viewer engagement for this game is at the lowest levels it's ever been. And this is the situation regardless.
Crazy.
I said that this was going to happen. I said that this was going to be the worst version update in the history of the game due to the absolute abhorrent lack of content that we have as players.
By the way, I've got him at 1.25 times, so if he feels slightly faster than usual, if you're a Saint viewer, that's why.
Nothing to do. This event sucks. This event's a login. And this event maybe would have been great in a standalone patch that had more content to do, but in this one, it just kind of comes off as an insult to call this the combat photo shoot when there's been nothing to do the entire fucking patch. And the reality,
I'll be honest, I don't give a crap about the combat photo shoot event. I'm gonna do it basically for the rewards. I don't really care much for the rest of it. It kind of sucks. I actually kind of liked the Vampire Survivors event. It felt like a nice little like twist on kind of the core of the game. It kind of offered a new experience, a new opportunity. I think they needed to make it a little bit more in depth and maybe closer to Vampire Survivors if they wanted to actually make that a recurring thing. But personally, I think a lot of people were hating on the event, but I grinded the heck out of that event when it came out. I had a lot of fun with it.
The reality is, every single other source of data, every single other source of playtime regarding the game is showing a similar downtrend in engagement across every single avenue possible. And that just happens to line up with when the game has literally no content available in it for players to actually play. And you don't have to take just Twitch's statistics alone. All you have to do is look at the Steam database for the game, and you'll look at this and be like, wait, these are some of the most depressingly low numbers you've probably ever seen for the game. Yes, we're hitting under 5K or just under 5K. And when you compare this to 3 months ago, like I said before, this was the release of the update, right? This is the Chuyan released over here. That's the peak. That's and that's Augusta.
Yeah, that's a huge drop off from there. Now, I know some of people had complaints in some of the previous patches that there wasn't like a ton of additional content to do, but I got super lucky in my playthrough where like I kind of like did bare minimum because I was just busy with life for like probably like 3 patches in a row and didn't do a ton of the 1.0 region around the time that not Dragon Spine. Oh my gosh, I can't remember what it's called. The Winter Zone. Gosh, darn it! Why can't I remember? I had so much backlog of content to go back and grind through, so that even in some of the 2.x patches that had like slightly less content in them, I went through and I was 100%ing regions. I was finding all of the chests. I was doing some of the hologram towers that I had been waiting on. I had been doing achievement hunting in the game because I have been just having so much fun with it. So if throughout all of 2.x, I've always had backlogs of content to go through and fill my time with, but this is the first time that I'm basically caught up on everything that I care to catch up on, and we're dead in this patch, and it is so unbelievably painful. I'm gonna be honest, to kind of sitting through this, and it is making me really worried for 2.8. We know 2.8 is coming. We're gonna be getting a segue filler patch. What's gonna be in that patch? I don't know, but I know already people are very nervous as to what's gonna happen for it because things have already fallen off a cliff. And if there's not something at least really engaging in 2.8, oh, yet it's not going to be a whole new region yet. That'll be probably for the 3.0. But if there's not something big in 2.8, that's going to be a problem.
Extend it out even further, right? This is the lowest the game has ever been on Steam for the release of a new character and the release of a new version half. This patch has bombed. This patch has bombed. And when this is the finale patch of Renacida, when hype was actually at some of the highest levels it's ever been, to have it drop all the way down like this and drop even lower to levels that we've never seen before is one of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen. Because all you have to do is take a look at the missed opportunity that there has been in the gacha space. Because right now, every other gacha game is also dropping the ball alongside Wuthering Waves. Take a look at Honkai Star Rail over here. Yes,
except Nikkei. Nikkei's been popping off with their anniversary. Hell yeah, dude.
They're getting a big surge in viewership because the 3.7 patch just dropped. But this is literally where it was at prior. Oh my god. They were hitting the 300 viewer mark. They're showing an average viewership across the first couple days of November of under triple digits. And that's what the viewership of the game has been across the past couple of months. Because HSR has been shitting the bed with its god-awful storytelling, god-awful story, and terrible finale that literally has both the West saying it's dog shit, and then the East is also saying it's dog shit. CN also thinks this patch is complete garbage, and that the ending of Amphorius is also complete garbage. That's...
No, it's so funny. The initial thing I heard about the Honkai Star Rail like ending to the patches, a lot of people really liked it. That was like the first thing that came out that people were like, whoa, crazy cinema. And then since like more information's come out, everybody's like, no, this is dog shit. This sucks. No, we hate this. It's kind of hilarious to see it. I dropped off on Castris. I keep feeling validated about that. I get like little bits that I'm like, I'm kind of curious as to how Amphorus like kind of continued to play out. But seeing how it ended, seeing those little bits, I'm like, nah, I'm good. No, that's okay. One other thing I should be able to add here is I think one thing you can say about Saint is that a lot of people call him like the Wuwa Glazer. And like, let's be real, he does glaze Wuwa, but I think generally speaking for good reason. I think he's got a lot of valid points and valid things to glaze the game for. But you can't say that he's not critical of the game when considering we're almost 5 minutes into this video and all he's done is basically go, this patch sucks, all the events suck, all the viewership's down, Wu was tanking at the moment. I don't know, that seems pretty honest to me.
Something that they did, right? That's something that's going on with the game currently. That's a missed opportunity for Wuthering Waves to have, I don't know, captured some more market share, actually have good things, good updates to the game, actual content to do. But instead, we have this. That's an example of one gacha game that has absolutely dropped the fucking ball. Now we've got another one. Look at Zenless Zone Zero. You might be saying, the live viewer numbers actually look pretty good. Maybe this is just like an inconsistency from the start of the patch, right? Or
ZZZ has always been the lowest of all like the Hoyoverse titles. It had a bit of a surge at the beginning of the game, but then has remained low. I've stuck with it barely recently, but I've pretty much stuck with it since it launched, and I've been like enjoying it for what it is. But it's never reached the heights of Star Rail or Genshin. It's not, and it never will. Let's be clear.
Or maybe this is just an inconsistency from the start of November. Maybe the game's actually doing great. See, it's got 2.2K. Guys, this is the current live viewership. The new character just dropped. The new character actually just dropped within the last 24 hours, and that's the viewership of the new character. Right there. That is it. I've never seen a new character release in a Hoyoverse game be this unpopular. And that's probably due to the fact that this character just looks like Yi Xuan with tentacles. Yes.
I don't know if I agree with that. I don't think she looks like Yi Xuan with tentacles, but like I personally like her design overall. I pulled for her, but I didn't have enough and I missed. But like I don't know if I'm gonna harp on her design that much.
This is just Calamari Yi Xuan. That's what I've been calling her for the past couple of months. And I've been telling people as well, this game is going to go downhill because the character designs are fucking awful and nobody likes them and nobody wants to pull them. And I guess nobody wants to watch people pull them either because that's what the new character in the game looks like. Another massive missed opportunity for Wuwa to be the one gacha game across the sphere that actually has good content.
I don't know what it is about Zenless Zone Zero that just makes like watching gameplay for the game is like so boring. Like I really don't care to watch people do any kind of combat events or any kind of challenge runs or no-hit runs or anything like that in CCZ. Like I just literally don't care. I don't mind playing it myself, and I like going through the combat myself, and getting some of the satisfying parries are really enjoyable. But just out from the outset of Zenless Zone Zero, it has not been a game that has really thrived on watching the gameplay, the content. You could just say, well, yeah, obviously because it's boring. Yeah, I guess, but like it's hard to think of as to like why that is or to pinpoint specifically what that reason is going to be. Maybe it is some of the simplicity in certain elements of the combat. Probably is the best guess that I can have. But yeah, it just never really like hooked me, or well, clearly hooked other people as well. Like I said, it never reached the viewership that Genshin or Star Rail did like ever.
Because what the fuck is the excuse for there being nothing in this goddamn patch to do? You could have just reran. Oh gosh, I'll just play a video of the shit that we could have had. Oh my lord, I remember dropping this video back in the day. The best co-op gameplay in gacha gaming. Oh brother, oh lord, y'all remember this shit? Oh, Fairy Tail's finale. You're like playing with your buddies. Oh my lord, this was so much fun. This shit was so much fun. They could have just reran this shit over again. Where you respawn, you got your one teammate over here doing some work. You're playing a support or whatever. You're showing off your S6 units, all of that. They could have just reran this. And you want to know how they could have reran this shit? Oh my brother lord, they could have just reran it with the 30 new holograms that they added to the game. They got him, they got her, they got her, they got it, her, and her. There's so much that they could have done. The last co-op hologram that we had was literally Hikari. Literally Hikari. At like the start of the year in version 2.1. But instead, here's Vampire Survivors, but just a shitty version.
It is definitely a shittier version than the original Vampire Survivors. He's not wrong. He's not wrong. Like, like they totally could have added like a better like combat event or something else that was like more engaging to do. Like having that, I think that actually that's a great idea. That bring back that previous combat event. They do have a whole new list of like holograms that have been added to the game for the bosses, like in Septimont, as well. Like they've got a whole cast and movesets that have already been added. So why not just re-implement those in another unique way? So I can totally see why he would want to, like, they have no excuse is what I'm trying to get at. He's right. They have no excuse to be able to incorporate something else like that. I know some people who've been coping have been trying to say like, well, yeah, but you can tell they put all the development time and resources into the animations and into the story stuff. The reality is, you have different team members on a development team that focus on different elements to the game. Like for example, your like animators that are going into like your cutscene animations that are going into those sequences within the story aren't going to be your same developers that are going to be going through and putting your combat events together. Generally speaking, within the development team, you've got smaller sub teams that focus on the different elements and components that go into a patch. So it's like, what were those other team members doing or focusing on during that time? Now you could copium and say, oh, well, they're going to have something's going to come in 2.0, 2.8. Maybe, I hope so. They better, but like you can't use that as a justification as to why there was not a ton that was added in this patch, especially when you consider like the Vampire Survivors event is really short. When you actually go through it, the first like 6 stages are basically tutorial stages because you have to use a particular character and you have to start with a particular weapon. And then it wants you to go through and merge it into a third kind of weapon. It's essentially tutorial stages till finally you get to the last one where you can go through and do like an unlimited mode. But then for all the rewards for it, you basically do one playthrough at that point. And then you've gotten essentially all of the rewards for the entire event. So there's no point in doing it. Once you do like 1-2 runs on that unlimited stage game mode where you try kind of all the merged weapons, that's it. It doesn't matter anymore. So like it's just, and again, I'm not saying that every game needs to be played forever, but if you're trying to appeal to the kind of rogue-like feeling of a game with Vampire Survivors, then yes, you need to tune it in a way that the replayability of that gameplay like is the enjoyable part of it, but there wasn't enough added in to make that happen. Like you played the unlimited stage twice and then you called it a day. It was really lacking in that department, which is too bad because I love Vampire Survivors and I would have loved to actually play into that game mode more personally.
Here's photo freeze, action frame. Go fuck yourself. So much shit that could have been done to keep up player engagement.
So tilted.
And then maybe,
so tilted
maybe people would have wanted to have played the fucking. I don't even want to play this shit. I'm gonna be real over here with you. I don't even want to play the Chewy on after story.
It's only like an hour
why?
or two.
Because I'm
an hour
already
and a half.
like disengaged with the game. Because there's been nothing to do for the past 21 fucking days. And so because of that, I really don't feel the desire to come back from a 21-day break, play the game for a fucking hour, because that's how long this after story is, and then proceed to go on another 21-day fucking break. Because again, there's nothing to do in the fucking patch. I'm just tabbing through the same 3 menus. Login event. Login event. Photo. Dog shit. Is it that much of a surprise that viewership and playtime and player count is at the lowest it's ever been in the history of the game? The only time.
His disengagement, I want to comment on that before he moves on from it. The disengagement that he was talking about there actually is the biggest problem for Wuthering Waves. This affects all games in general, but I would say in particular gacha games that kind of does thrive on getting that daily engagement and login from its players. If you have a player who disengages from a game for 21 days, which is about, what, 3 weeks, almost exactly, you're going to have, that is 3 weeks, you're going to have somebody that has been habitually logging into the game and going in and engaging with it. They will have broken that habit by the end of those 3 weeks, and it's not going to be at the forefront of their mind, and they will have likely moved on to another game or another title in terms that they want to sink their teeth into. You're talking about gacha players. And gacha players, when you disengage from a game, if you're like a low spender, free-to-play player like myself, which I would say is kind of the average gacha player in general, it's really hard to entice a player to come into an existing game or when they feel like they've missed out on some of the content. For example, in Honkai Star Rail, after I quit it, every single patch that passes since I've quit the game makes me less and less likely to ever go back to that game. Because if I do, all I'm going to feel is like, oh, I've missed out on, 6, 7 new characters. Oh, I missed out on these events. Oh, there was a weapon that came along on this event that was a limited time only, and I've missed that weapon. Oh, I've missed this. I've missed this. And the more you miss, the more you're like, I don't really care. I don't really care to go back. It's not worth my time, because to make up the ground that you lose on a gacha game is only ever crossed by spending a ton of money or an ungodly amount of grinding, and that eventually you could maybe try and equalize over the next year or two as more and more new content comes out. But that first barrier of re-entry is really tough to cross. Right now, Wuthering Waves is actively digging that hole of habitual disengagement by getting people to quit for basically almost an entire patch. If you think about it, they played the story quest and then disengaged from the entire patch. And then they've been not offering anything really enticing to bring people back in with this one thing with Chion. 2.8 is then going to be another segue patch. Another patch where there's I don't know. I'm not expecting anything huge, if I'm being honest. And so if they have 2 patches back to back of effectively little to no content that gets people wanting to engage with it on a daily basis for at least a couple weeks, that's going to be bad. I think it's going to be really tough, and I think the numbers are going to take a big hit on 3.0 if that does happen. I think there will still be a surge on 3.0. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say this is the end of the game, but I do think it's going to be a big hit. It is going to be a big problem for the game when you do that, because you have to think about gacha gamers' average player habits.
That it's been lower is like fucking, there's never been a lower time. I'm just kidding. Yeah, this is literally the lowest time it's ever been. And that's where we're currently at right now. And you want to know the best part about it is? I haven't even gone through my entire list of where games have dropped the ball. You got Genshin Impact over here, completely shitting the bed since Natlan released, having a massive drop-off in viewers. They released their UGC, and nothing changes because the UGC is dog shit. Everyone knows the UGC is bad, giga predatory, and it's just going to result in probably another fucking child abuse case, just like it did with Roblox. People already see that's bad. That's another missed opportunity for Wuthering Waves to be the game that people are talking about, that they're playing. Because, again, Genshin's shitting the bed, ZZZ is shitting the bed, and HSR is also shitting the bed. And guess what? Wuwa shit the fucking bed too. It's all just shit everywhere at this point.
Yeah.
And when you look and you see
That's
this,
really too bad.
and you look at how easy it would have been for them.
Looking at chat there for a second in the corner, Kuro preparing PGR Annie. Here's the deal. Like, you could maybe make the case that they're like, well, we want Wuwa to dip so that people are interested in going back to PGR and trying out PGR. I don't think there's actually as big a crossover between Wuwa players and PGR players as some of us initially thought there was going to be. I think PGR's got a dedicated fan base, which is Punishing Grey Raven. If you didn't know, for some reason, if you're watching this video, I think it's got its own kind of like category and group of players that are dedicated to that game. And while some of those players are Wuwa players, I don't think the general crossover between the two factions are actually there and existing. Also, Kuro is big enough that they've got two different development teams that are working on each of those projects individually. So I don't think it's actually the case that Wuwa's taking a hit because they're putting all of their development resources into PGR. I would think they've got two separate teams working on that. Yes, speculation, but as somebody who comes from like software and in the software industry and how some of those things happen when they scale up in that regard, I don't know if I can see that totally being the case, because if they do, it's just dumb, because I don't think it's a smart assumption to say that if a player has nothing that they're going to play in Wuwa, they're then going to go play PGR. I think they're likely just to move on to something else. Like in some places like me, like I've been playing the heck out of Duet Night Abyss recently. That's been filling the gap for me. I don't think people are going to go back to PGR or go to PGR for the first time. Again, another very old gacha game at this point, but I should say mature, not old, because old implicates that like it's bad. It's just mature, meaning there's so much content there that, again, it's kind of that barrier of entry.
There to have just been good stuff to do in this patch, because all you'd have to do is just, I don't know, rerun Virtual Crisis, rerun the hologram, co-op hologram event with all the new bosses. All the ingredients are there. It's like going into a restaurant, right? You just bought the 5-course meal, and then half of it is like fucking Wonder Bread, peanut butter sandwiches, and you can see that like bro has like pasta and pasta sauce all ready to go. It's just they were too lazy to fucking take it out of the package and cook it. Because all the ingredients for amazing events, amazing content is all there. And
I will say, I do think if they had just rerun the events, they still would have been given criticism. It's just like, well, they're just rerunning events. They're being lazy as developers by not adding new content and stuff to it. They still would have been criticized for it. However, there still would have at least been content to do. They still would have had something for players that they could go back and re-engage with on the co-op side, on that individual challenge side. So even though they would have got that, also players love getting free rewards. So if they rerun it so that people could still get some more free pulls, some more currency and stuff to be added in there, I think people still would have been more appreciative of that as opposed to not having anything. So I do think they still would have been criticized.
And just nothing was done with it, and we just get this dog shit event in return. I've already made my statements known on the survey, but I just got to make this video again, because you want to know what the funniest fucking part
I didn't
about
even
all
bother
this
with the survey.
The funniest fucking part is the fact that I've been telling you guys since a whole month ago that this patch was going to be bad. I remember this video over here, my honest thoughts on Wuwa 2.7. I said it's mid. I want to re-amend that statement. It's dog shit. It's not just mid, it's fucking terrible. And the best part about all of it, I got downvoted.
Look, he's not wrong. Because again, remember, for anybody who's like so locked in here and like offended by the idea of being critical of Wuthering Waves at this point, it's dog shit, not because the story was dog shit. Like, just to be so clear here, the story was good. It wrapped well. It had its problems, but it was good overall. Really enjoyable. Great Avengers moment. It's everything else around it that sucks. There's nothing to do. The new region area that was dropped, there was like, it took me 2 minutes to go pick up a few chests and to clear some of those like nightmare zones. And so I could 100% that last little like territory that was added, whatever you want to call it. Like, there was nothing else added other than the story. Really, when you break it down. That's the part that sucks. You're getting it. The problem is players want something to play and there's nothing for them to play. That's why it sucks. Not because it's bad.
To shit for that statement. I even downvoted myself so I could get it as the thumbnail for the video. People are out here saying, oh, he's just doom posting. He's just doom posting the game. He's just talking shit about Woo-Wah because Duet Night Abyss and Chaos Zero Nightmare are about to release. Bro's jumping ship. Guess what, guys? Was I fucking wrong? Was I wrong a month ago? Absolutely fucking wrong. Was I wrong when I kept making these videos about the reality of the patch being bad, aside from the story? Absolutely not. Was I wrong about us getting astroturfed by players that don't fucking play the game? Remember the number of people saying, Woo-Wah 2.7 is actually amazing because I work 3 jobs and have 17 children, and I don't really have a lot of time to play the game. But I have 4 hours to spare to complete Solaris Soldier. You had people putting in the most dog shit feedback possible for the game, resulting in, quite possibly, the worst patch we've ever had in the history of Woo-Wah.
If I hear one person say, well, it's nice not having content because it gives me an opportunity to catch up and to save. I like not having anything to do, so I can do that. I'm gonna kill you in a video game, because no, that is the worst excuse. We ripped on Genshin players who tried to cope with that, with saying that, like, oh, I like not having content so I can catch up. No, it's inexcusable. There needed to be more. It's a live service title. It's a live service game. Give us some service. That's all we're saying.
Because guess what? A 7-hour story, if it's a good one, can only tide you over for so long. And guess what? The story juice has run the fuck out, because the only fucking people playing this game right now, oh, let me just reload this page. The only fucking people playing this game right now is Shy Lily, when she plays it like twice a fucking week. Otherwise, nobody is playing this shit or watching this shit. Wait, let me just see where the levels were at this morning before I went online. Oh, God, we're looking like fucking ZZZ now, boys. Congratulations. Soon we might hit that double-digit mark. Ooh. Because guess what, guys? We still have 2 fucking weeks left in the patch.
You gotta remember, those, like, viewers, like, even like Saint, I would put him in this category too now with the amount of support and viewership that he gets, is the reason the viewership is spiking there is not because all of a sudden there's more people who are interested in Wuthering Waves. The viewership spiking is because that's the creator they like to watch. The spike with Shy Lily is because there's a ton of people who are fans of Shy Lily and her content, and they're going to watch her play and do her streams, not because people are like eager to go in and watch Wuthering Waves. If it was simply just eager to watch Wuthering Waves, we would still see those spikes with creators, but the general viewership would still be up overall. We would be seeing that in the trend, and that's not what we're seeing. It's bottoming out here.
We're not even a week in to Chuyan's banner. We still have 2 weeks left, and we're hitting numbers this fucking dog shit. So remember when I said the Woo-Wah killer thing is a myth? The only thing that can kill Woo-Wah is itself. The only thing that can kill Woo-Wah is Kuro Games. And they fucking did it. They did it. And the craziest part is, some people might be under the assumption, oh, it's Duet Night Abyss that's doing all the work. That game has a shit ton of views. Oh, it's Chaos Zero Nightmare that's doing the work. That game also has a good number of views. Guys, they're completely different genres of gameplay than Wuthering Waves. I think it's pretty fair to say that they definitely hit on a different crowd. This game is for people that want to grind and play the game for like 10 plus hours a day. You don't do that in Wuthering Waves.
Okay, I will say I don't. He's right. It's not 1-to-1. It's definitely not 1-to-1, because you're having an intersection of like ARPG players with Wuthering Waves and like general gacha players, people who like actually just like to try different kinds of gacha games. And so both of those groups kind of fracture off when you're looking at like Chaos Zero Nightmare versus like Duet Night Abyss, because you're going to get more ARPG players, people who want a little bit more of the grind going to Duet Night Abyss, and then you're going to get some of the gacha players who want to try and have, you know, something else. They want to try a different title, kind of going off into Chaos Zero Nightmare. So I don't think it's like this group went here or this group went here. I do think there's like a bit of like a severing in half of the community that is exploring other titles right now into each one of them. It's not 1-to-1 on either one of them. But no, I definitely would say that they're filling a void right now for a lot of people. Like, they're definitely feeling a void in that community.
Chaos Zero Nightmare is like the RPG version of playing the game for a shit ton of time, because you got to do a lot of runs, subject yourself to a lot of RNG to make good progression on your characters, and your mind breaks and whatever the fuck kind of weird porto shit, like nightmares you got going on in the game. This game requires a lot of time too. Wuwa is a game that doesn't actually.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I haven't logged into Chaos Zero Nightmare in like, I don't know, 3-4 days. I'll be honest. I've probably dropped it at this point. I just haven't accepted it yet. But it's fine. It's a fine game. But I don't think I got time for it.
Require that much time to play. But guess what? I know it doesn't require that much time. But the fact that there's nothing to do in the fucking update is making that playtime even less. And it's being proven and shown in every single metric possible on every single platform possible. So maybe in the future, when we're going ahead and we're giving critiques to CCs about them doom posting the game, right? About them jumping ship, so on and so forth. Maybe you got to recognize, just for a quick second, they're right. Because I have been 100%, 100 million fucking percent, completely correct regarding this matter.
You can't lie with the numbers, ladies and gentlemen. That's the reality of the situation here. And I think Saints kind of hit the nail on the head pretty much the whole way through. I think if you want to watch the full video, you can go and check it out on the rest of it on his channel where he kind of continues his rant. The one other additional point that I just wanted to draw attention to that he brings up is that there's going to be the residual effects. I mentioned this earlier on, that there will be long-term effects of this in the game. There's going to be long-term hits to the player base as a result of this unbelievably dead patch, and now going into a segue patch in 2.8. I think we will be seeing that kind of like play out over the next little while, and it's going to take a lot to kind of reinvigorate the player base. They're going to want to be seeing some really big stuff come in the future. 0.0 updates are potential opportunities to bring in new players, and I'm hoping that whatever, Leroy or this Leroy or whatever the new federation is going to be, whatever that looks like when we get to the 0.0 update, that it can hopefully salvage some of those elements. But I'm going to be honest, it's not looking very good. No, this is not doom posting. This is coming from somebody who's been loving 2.x in general, and I worry for the future of the game because I've been putting so much time into this game and playing it on my personal time. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you think Saints off base? I'll be honest, I think he was right. And I think to amend his point that the rest of this patch, other than the story that has been dog shit, pretty accurate. The only small glimmer for me was that Vampire Survivors event, and even then, pretty subpar. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. Would love to hear your thoughts on it. If you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. Greatly appreciate you for coming and checking out the video. Make sure to drop a like and subscribe for future content. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.